Hi guys, this is Manoj here. I'm having around 20 years of industry experience carrying good knowledge in DevOps and cloud and based out of Bangalore, India. So we will understand why DevSecOps, what is DevSecOps, principle of the DevSecOps, advantages of the DevSecOps, and then I'll tell you, okay, implementation of the DevSecOps. So today session is more of a theoretical point of view important. Okay, so what is the DevSecOps session? DevSecOps is, see, when Dev and Ops teams will be solving their problems. So for example, we were in the waterfall model earlier. We were running our SDLC lifecycle in the waterfall model. What are the phases of SDLC lifecycle? We have run these concepts multiple times. Okay, it's a requirement gathering, it's a design, it's a development, it's deployment, it's a testing and maintenance. This is the SDLC lifecycle. So earlier we were running the SDLC lifecycle in the waterfall model, but waterfall model says you should run this SDLC lifecycle in the ways water flows. Everything is going in a sequence, particular sequence as a whole, okay, which leads to a lot of problems. Okay, what is the problem with the waterfall model? If I run the SDLC lifecycle, we are not getting the feedback on time, not getting the feedback on time. So to overcome the problem, we have come with the methodologies wherein we are not going with the big bang approach, we are going with the simpler approaches, okay? Or maybe we are going with the iterative approaches wherein we are going with incremental approach of developing our modules. Instead of having one SDLC lifecycle, we will have multiple life cycles are there, like requirement gathering, design, development, deployment, testing, and maintenance. Okay, so this iterative approach is calling it as a what approach, guys? What is this iterative approach? We are calling it as a agile methodologies, right? We are calling it as agile methodologies. Okay, agile methodologies, and this life cycle is calling it as a sprint. So we have entered into the agile methodologies. Now, because of agile methodologies, we have come from months time to the weeks time or the days time. It actually creates a lot of issues for us. Okay, and to overcome the issues, we have to automate a lot of things. So for developer, we have to a lot of things to be automated, code quality to be automated, and code coverage to be automated. And apart from that, builds packages to be automated. Apart from that, we will have a lot of things to be automated for operations, guys, like deployments has to be automated, testing has to be automated. Okay, environment maintenance has to be automated, environment simulations to be automated. Okay, a lot of things to be automated. Okay, apart from that, we have to participate in automating infra part as well. Infra provisioning or infra automation, infra provisioning has to be automated. Okay, so this is also one part. And more apparently, everyone has to work together as a team. Okay, everyone has to work together as a team, as a more collaboration. So this is how we have got to know about the importance of the DevOps. And now we are combining multiple teams in the DevOps, wherein development team is also participating. Okay, operations teams is also participating. Let me make a Venn diagram, guys. Yeah, so we have dev team is also operating. We have ops team which is also operating here. We have testing team is also getting operated here. And underneath we will have our own infrastructure would be there. Okay, our infrastructure would be there. What is the biggest advantage of DevOps is there, which industry is utilizing? Cloud computing. Okay, huge automation And because of automation, guys, we can move nowadays in the cloud in very short span of time. Okay. So the biggest movement which is came into the market in last 5 years is cloud, right? Everyone agrees, guys, because of all this thing is being automated, we are gradually moving from on premises to the cloud infra. We are moving to the cloud infra, right? Everyone agrees to move on to the cloud infra. Now, guys, when we are moving to the cloud infra, what is the biggest worry which people are facing or which people are experiencing? Security, right? Security is the big concern for everyone to move on to the cloud. Why security is a big concern? Because, guys, we are allowing anyone to access your code. Cloud companies are saying we are very much secure. Cloud companies are saying that we are very much secure, but from your side also, you have to make sure that your data is in secure hand. Okay. Even cloud companies also run by some employees. So apparently or consistently, your data is not safe. So the biggest threat which has come into the market is that security is a big concern in the market because you are allowing your data to come into the cloud for 2 or 3 decades. This was residing on your on premises or your own data centers. Now you are allowing anyone to access your data. I mean, we understand that AWS is saying we are highly secure, Azure is saying we are highly secure, GCP is saying we are highly secure, but end of the day they are not that much of secure. So now this is a mindset which we have to change. Then what we have to do? Who is responsible to bring data into the cloud? So guys, DevOps is the guy who is responsible to bring the data in short span of time to the cloud, right? Agrees? Right, guys? DevOps is ensuring to bring data onto the cloud. Everyone agrees, right? So guys, if I will add one guy over here, which is called sec part, security part, will it solve my purpose to bring security at some extent in my solution? If I'll add security in DevOps, what do you think, guys? Again, it's a mindset. DevOps was a mindset. Now security you're adding, that's also a mindset over there, right, guys? So will it help me to gain the confidence of my business and stakeholders that, hey, we are moving onto the cloud, but we are secure, right, guys? So this concept is nothing, but this concept is known as DevSecOps. Okay, so you are reinventing a wheel. It's nothing from DevOps to you are coming to DevSecOps world by adding one more piece inside this, which is calling is as a security. Okay, so we are reinventing the wheel by making these small modifications. Okay, which is nothing but security. Okay, before I go to the security world, guys, let's talk here only. See, when a development team is developing the something, what kind of security can be embedded here? In code level, what kind of security can be provided? Your credentials should not be in decrypted form, right? They should be in encrypted form, right, guys? You should not get memory level exceptions, right? So your code should be encrypted to hide the passwords. A lot of encryptions are required. When you go for a testing, what kind of testing will help you to secure your test cycles? Penetration testing. Okay, penetration testing would be the best candidates. Okay, when you go for the ops part, guys, you are more or less connecting to the infra also. So your infra should be secure. Infra should be secure. Your infra should be secure. Like many services are there which AWS provide, Cognito. I mean, some sort of services are there which makes your infra should be secure. And the pertaining to the infra, whatever applications are running, like containers should be secure. Let's say Kubernetes cycles, they should be secure. Okay. If you have a deployment tools are their hosted solution, configuration management tools. Okay. CM should be secure. So what is the net outcome here is, guys, that we should be getting all kind of security testing done wherever it can be. Let's say cloud says I have a firewall is there, but that is internal to the cloud. You don't know in and out of the firewall part. Okay. So better you should save your inner peripheral so that if there is an issue in the outer peripheral, you should able to mitigate that problem. So everywhere, wherever you are utilizing the concept of DevOps should be supplement or complement by security. That is the main idea here. Now I'll walk you through few of the type of security techniques which are available in the market. So guys, first of all, whenever we go for any project, we have to go for one of the security type, which is nothing but ARA testing. ARA testing is nothing but architecture risk analysis technique. Okay, it actually remediates your most of the problems at a early stage of SDLC life cycle. It actually works on your design level only. So again, this is a part of your development, which is nothing but ARA testing. How an ARA works is it analyzes business context, it creates a threat model, it conducts a risk analysis. So let me walk you through each and every concept. It actually, we conduct interviews with business owners of the system to gather and analyze the information to understand the security risk that impact the business goal of the system. It's nothing but, let's say if I'm getting a requirement from the business, I should talk to the multiple stakeholders and understand what could be risk you are anticipating. Second thing is you create a threat model. I mean, whatever threats you would be gathering, threat be getting from the business, you create a threat model, okay, and make the relationship between that hey, in this scenario that kind of threat would be there, in that scenario you will be having that sort of threat. Based on this threat we'll be doing a risk analysis. And what is this risk analysis is known attack analysis, system specific analysis, dependencies analysis. Okay, and then you should provide the mitigation advice. So this is nothing but, guys, on your architecture level, whatever investigations you can do it through ARA technique. Okay, architecture risk analysis, this is the first step of mitigating any security risk. Okay, and this is very at the early stage of SDLC lifecycle. Guys, again, these kind of problems comes on the architecture level. Okay, and this is more of a part of a process here. So we'll discuss a lot of type of security principles, tools, which will make our understanding little more easy. Can you give some examples of the ARA? Okay, so as I told, any point in time when you are going for your risk, I mean, any point in time when you're finalizing your design, that time you have to go with this ARA analysis. And I'm sure in any standard organization, as a CMM level audit, you have to complete your ARA audit, okay, from the proper auditors. In every organization nowadays, there is a security separate unit is there. So guys, all these concepts is nothing but it's a group effort. A DevOps engineer cannot do everything. This has to be planned step by step. Now guys, we have something called SAST testing is there, static application security testing. There is something called SAST testing is also there. There is something called DST testing is also there. Yeah, this is SAST, and there is a dynamic AST also there. DST testing is also there. Yeah, so there is a DST testing is also there. Okay, let's cover both the things one by one. Okay, this is from Coverity, static application security testing. This is one of the tool is there. And what it does is, so this SEST tool, you can integrate with your DevOps pipelines. Okay, and then it will help you to find out all kind of issues. Okay, you will have your on-prem or you're on the cloud. Okay, and your security analysis done through this tool, but this is getting your static components, okay, not dynamic components. For your dynamic components you can go with a tool called HP45, which is known as a nowadays micro focus 45, which is nothing but a micro focus 45 tool. And if you want to compare CAST and DAST, guys, 1 minute, I'm getting a correct article because ideally I should have something to show you, but let's see, that is a paid tool, so I cannot get it here. Let me walk through the understanding. One minute, guys, give me a minute of time. Yeah, SAST and DEST application security testing methodologies are used to find vulnerabilities. Static or SAST is a white box method of testing. Okay, DST is a black box method that examines the application as it's running to find vulnerability that is in attack could be exploited. What is the difference between SAST and DEST? Many organizations wonder about pros and cons of SAST and DEST. DEST are different application approaches with different benefits. So guys, you have to go through this article. This will tell you few more things. I mean, SAST is a white box testing. DEST is a black box testing. It requires a source code. It requires a running code. One finds vulnerability at early stage of the SDLC lifecycle. One found at end of the SDLC lifecycle. Less expensive. One is a more expensive. Cannot discover runtime environment. Can discover runtime environment. Typically supports all kind of softwares. Okay. One supports only the web applications and web services. SEST and DEST technique complements each other, but both need to carry out comprehensive testing. So guys, net, this is there for vulnerable testing. Okay, how you can get out of the vulnerabilities of your product. But what is the difference when to use what? You have to find out here. So let me write down here. If we go for SEST testing, we have to go with Coverity as a tool. If we have to go for DEST, we can go with HP45 as a tool. HP45 as a tool. So it depends upon which tool you have to use. Coverity I haven't used. I use HP45. So per scan they charge $1,000. So we cannot bring in the demo. There is one more tool is there for desk called Veracode. Okay, which is I believe open source. I've used mainly this HP45 tool in my organization. So DEST and SEST, these two tools are there. Okay, two techniques are there by which you will get, okay, understanding about these tools. Okay, and guys, one more type of testing is also there, which is called SCA. Okay, there is a comparison is there. What is SCA? Okay, let me bring that article also. SCA security. Okay, let's discuss about SCA now. SAST and SCA. Okay, SAST we have seen. So SAST detects vulnerabilities in priorities code, detects vulnerability in open source. So SCA mainly work for open source code. Access to the source code not required because it's open source. In the SAST, it requires your source code. Okay, easier to fix vulnerabilities, complicated remediation process. Because guys, open source, you can easily go and fix the things. It's in more in your hand. Okay, you can get the code. Okay, limited SDLC integration, end-to-end SDLC coverage is there. Okay, high false positive, no false positives, time consuming, no impact on build on repo. Okay, covers a specific security, covers all open source risk and increase agility. So now guys, I'll go to the slides. Okay, I wanted to give you some background. So we have covered one point here, why DevSecOps. Now what is a DevSecOps? Incorporating sec principle in DevOps, that is called DevSecOps. Okay, very new concept to the market, guys. Even we are trying to incorporate. As I told, HP45 costs $1,000 per scan, so it's not easy to even learn also and to teach also, but that is where the world is moving towards. So we'll discuss one by one each and every topic. Hackers always looking for ways to deploy malware. Okay, so you must be knowing that we are opening the doors to get our code onto the cloud. So definitely, hackers will be looking around to hack your code. So guys, if you, I'll tell you one fact here. Yeah, so what is the best time of business for the online retail websites? Christmas time or Black Friday time or Boxing Day, right? This is the timings are there. So guys, I mean, these Amazon or maybe Walmart, I mean, in the backend, they pay hackers to hack others' website. For example, let's say Walmart website is hacked, then people will come to the Amazon website. Okay, so they pay a huge amount to the hackers, and that is how they are surviving. So they're ready to, uh, you know, uh, block your business, okay, and deploy malwares. Okay, so they are well prepared to handle all these things. Okay, so development, DevOps, operation. This makes okay a DevOps plus information security is getting into it, and then it has become DevSecOps. We have just discussed all these points. Okay, when security is getting added, it has become DevSecOps. Now, what is a DevSecOps? DevSecOps is basically security enabled in the DevOps. It's an early integration of secure culture, tools, practices. So it's nothing, guys. When you are adding security into DevOps, it's DevSecOps. Now, principles of DevOps are positioning. Each security flaw is identified and fixed one at a time. Okay, so like whether it's a development level flaws or deployment level flaws or infra level flaws that should be find out and should be getting fixed. Okay, recognize one's code must withstand critique. Okay, so all the vulnerable things should be identified on time. Drills, red team finds vulnerabilities and use them in the software. Awareness, each source is locked down, no exceptions. Okay, so anything is there which has to be find out on time should be find out on time. Chows, DevOps experts chows to occur. I mean, they are always ready to fix the issues. So these are couple of principles are there. So guys, each and every idea we'll talk about. DevOps team is on the head of everything. So chows is one of the key factor here. Awareness, people should be aware of something comes up, we have to fix it. Okay, red teams, they are always try to find out vulnerable things and you know use them in software to find out the things. Positioning, each flaw has to be fixed on time and everyone's code has to be fixed. Now, advantage of DevSecOps. So advantage of DevSecOps, guys, few of the advantages which is listed. Spot vulnerabilities and bugs early. So, so which kind of testings are there, guys, to figure out, spotting the vulnerabilities on time or at the early stage of the life cycle, SDLC life cycle? Guys, what type of analysis is there which will help us to spot vulnerabilities on time or early stage of the life cycle? I read through one slide and it was mentioned there SAST, right? SAST. DAST is for later stage of the life cycle. Okay. Do we need to have an environment required for SAST or it is required for DAST? Yeah, SAST environment is not required. DST is required. For SAST, just code is required. Source code is required. Leverage open source with confidence, because if your open source is kind of error free, vulnerable free, then you can leverage it confidently. Save cost on resource management. If you are detecting your all the problems at the early stage of the life cycle, you are actually saving a lot of cost. Make developers security aware. Yeah, so since you are doing all this testing on time, SAST testing on time, you're actually making your developers to be more security aware. Reduce legal risk and liability. I mean, so when your data goes to the production, if something goes happen, you would fall into a big legal problems. So there was a company in US called Target. They got into compliances because a hacker hacked their inventory of credit cards, and they were sued by US government with $250 million. Okay, this is a case study also. $250 million. Okay, so it was a huge loss for Target. Implementing DevOps, guys, this is the most important section, which I tried to explain earlier. So we have multiple areas are there. Development areas are there wherein we are using IDE, pre-commit hooks, third-party component scan, version control system wherein we have repositories are there, scan is there, secret management is there. So guys, repository scan, when we talk about, there is a repository reviews are there. Have you heard about a tool called Garrett? Garrett was used for security scan in repository scan. Pre-build static app security testing, post-build dynamic app testing, container and cloud security testing. In QA time, you will have security testing is there. In staging time, you have penetration testing, manageability testing is there. In production, you have IAS compliance as a code testing is there. So different type of testing techniques are there at different point in time. But what states what, that is mentioned in the next slide. Monitoring and alerting security is there. So what are the testing and tools are required? So when you go for CI/CD pipeline, pre-commit checks. So guys, pre-commit checks as in before your code gets entered into your version control system. So there is something called proactive DevOps is there. This is the part of proactive DevOps. There is a commit time checks are there. When the code gets committed, what checks you want. Build time checks, when your actually builds are happening, what checks you want. When you are testing it, what checks you want. When you deploy the code, what checks you want. So pre-commit checks is, guys, the time before you commit the code, the moment you commit the code, the moment you start the build, the moment you test your okay code, the moment you deploy your code. So when you commit your code, you should make sure that your RA testing is completed. So what is RA testing, guys? Wherein we are doing threat modeling also, we are doing code review also, configuration reviews also. What is called RA review, guys? Architecture risk analysis, right, guys? Remember, when you go for the RA test, RA point of time, we have to check architecture risk analysis. We have discussed, okay? So that is before your code gets commit into your version control system. You should make sure it has been completed. Then your commit time, compliance and build code runs SES tools, okay? So what is the SES tool we have discussed? That is HP45. It will do the testing for your, not HP45, Coverity. It is the testing for your vulnerables when your source code is there, when it hasn't deployed to your environment. Okay, it will gather the metrics like what is good, what is not good about your code. Then your build time checks are there. Okay, here you will have comprehensive test is there. SCA is there. We have just discussed about SCA. Okay, risk-based security analysis is there. Gather metrics are there. Break the builds are there. Now test time checks are there. Here dest has come. Why dest has come over here? When we do the testing, during testing or this time, do we have our environment ready? Can we do the testing without having code deployed into the environment? No. Okay, so once your code is deployed, your environment is ready. That time dest testing is there, which we have discussed. So SEST and dest. SEST is for your code, source code. Test is for your environment. Then you will have your deployment checks are there. Okay, pre-deployment check, post-deployment check, In pre-deployment checks, you will have configuration management testing is there. Why we will have configuration management testing is required? So guys, if let's say I'm picking a chef hosted a version of the configuration management, and that point in time where my chef is hosted, chef master is hosted on the cloud or on premises? On the cloud, right guys? On the cloud it is being hosted. Okay, so we need configuration management testing also, because we are not aware where it's being hosted. It might have some security issues. Okay, post deployment, what we will have: bug bounty program, threat intelligence, vulnerability scanning, security scanning. That is your application level scannings. So guys, with that, I'll wrap up the session. Hope you guys enjoyed the session. And thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for your time. Bye for now.